Good morning, paranormal community, and thank you for partaking in this so amazing episode of the Odyssey Files. I can say that before the episode even begins because I already know what the subject matter is, and this is going to be amazing. Oh, but I'm your host. I due to the nature of this program, I almost want to give a fake name. Not that that's going to fool anybody, but I'm Michael O'Neill. With me, as always, until we both get disappeared, is my co-host, Mr. Anthony Hernandez. Good morning, Anthony. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. I also drive a brand new vehicle that has no brake problems or any of those other issues that cause you to self-end yourself.
Let me just say this now. Neither Anthony or I are suicidal. All of my doors are locked at all times. And my front door has a chain on it. So nobody's getting in. I live in a very safe neighborhood. So believe me, if ruffians come to mess me up, it's a targeted assault. I assure you of that. So before we get into today's topic, I have an announcement, and an amazing announcement. And it's not going to mean anything to anybody if they listen to this show after a week from now. But at least they know, if they're following the number of episodes, like chronologically speaking, they know what the next one is. But I want to announce, finally, after years of trying to get him back on the show, and I mean that literally years, I've been trying to get him to come back on the show. Mr. Grant Wilson of Ghost Hunters, Ghost Hunters A&E. The list doesn't go on. But honestly, one of the, in my opinion, one of the founding people like responsible for the mainstream boom in the paranormal. Yep. But he's coming on next week with his amazing wife, Rihanna, who is an investigator, researcher. She's got mediumship abilities, like psychic abilities as well. So she's fully capable and welcome to come on with him to answer all of our questions. They're going to be here for 2 hours. 2 hours with Grant Wilson. Or I should just say with the Wilsons. But it makes me think like we're back in Mayberry, or something like that. Like, it's the Wilsons, and everybody should just know that.
So we can have the special Mayberry theme music for them coming on.
We will not, but that's okay. I might though. Last time he was on, and this was one of the first ones that we did. He did I haven't played it in a long time because we just continue to talk. But people like yourself who've been listening for a really, really long time know that we used to do intermissions. And and even before then, when we had to have a special kind of outline, like we had to do when we were on Para X, like we had to do like, we're on Para X, blah blah blah. I would have these promos that would have our guests make fun of Dave and myself. And Grant was one of the first ones that did it. And so I'm thinking that I'm going to go back and add that into our opening theme song just for next week. So it's just gonna play, and all of a sudden the music's gonna dim, and it's like, hey everybody, this is Grant Wilson, from Ghost Hunters or what, blah blah blah. And just kind of get his reaction to that, because I swear he's probably forgotten about it. But
that'd be kind of cool.
It will. But we're going to be talking about he's now like him and Rihanna are now ambassadors to Mysterious Adventures tours. They're also going to be the special ambassadors to the Prague trip next month that I'm going on. And they did Greece. They did Japan, which included like the suicide forest. And both of those trips, I got robbed of going. I wanted to go on both of those, and obviously, the universe did not want me to go. Excuse me. And yeah, so
the guides.
Whatever. I had to listen to my work. It wasn't my guys. They're like, Mike, you can't go on this tour. It was work saying we're not going to give you the time off.
Oh, that kind of sucks too.
Yes, indeed. Especially the Japan trip. Like I don't mean to make it sound what's the word? I don't know, bleak. But I mean, like the suicide forest is like on my list of places I just want to visit. I don't necessarily need to go in there and mess with anything or like put a recorder up to the woods, but I would love to stand there and to kind of feel that
energy of the place.
Yeah, the energy of the place. And so anyway, so the first half of the show, we're going to be talking about that, his tours, things that they've experienced on them. And then the second half of the show, the gloves are coming off. we can. He has already said we can ask him anything we want. I've got ideas. I've got questions, and I know you do too. So, and when you have access to somebody who has got like 30 years of research into the paranormal now, like you need to take advantage of it. So hold on a second here. Apparently, we're having trouble streaming to one of our Facebook things. No, I don't want to delete it. Whatever. It's a thing on Facebook's end. Either that or the AI military complex knows our topic, and now they're trying to cease us from getting
shut it down.
And shut it down. Shut it down, O'Neill. It's not something my guys are telling me. So let's get into this. So let's preface it by exactly what we're going on. Obviously, the title of the show is "Are the Nation's Scientists Being Offed?"
Yeah.
And what is going on? And unless you are listening to a certain news organization at a certain time, chances are you're not. I mean, you're not going to find this on like MS Now or Fox News. Not without, I would think, specific authorization to do so. So you get it on News Nation, correct? Is that
I like well, they're because Cold Heart is they embrace Cold Heart and stuff, so they'll chase any story. They tend to be kind of balanced with what they bring out.
News Nation, we have no standards.
Well, no, I think they just go after any story. They don't care how wild or how crazy it sounds. They'll dig into it. So I kind of like them.
I can't stop mistaking News Nation for Newsmax. And if Newsmax came out with this, we would not be talking about it. Because no.
I was like, I don't even know where you watch those guys anymore. I haven't even heard. I didn't even know they were still around.
They shouldn't be, but I'm pretty sure they're on OAN or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they went to the online catalog. type of thing, where now they're just a podcast themselves.
Themselves.
But yeah, themselves. But just to give a broad overview, because we're going to dive deep into this. Between July of 2023 and this month, there have been 13 scientists, military figures who have either gone completely missing or have been killed, or dead. And that's a lot of scientists, especially since all of them, in one way or another, like, I'm not talking about there's like some scientist who's working on the hydrogen engine for a vehicle. Like, that's not what we're
Actually, one of them was working on the fusion, so there is
well,
one that was.
fusion, but not a hydrogen engine for a car. We're
No,
talking about
no, not
fusion.
space. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
talking about space.
right. And so they all have the they're either working or worked for laboratories, the military, whatever, on either top secret projects or like components and elements that deal with things needed for outer space. I think one of them was the guy that has discovered water on another planet.
Correct.
Um,
Yeah, the map maker, the person who could have told you where stuff comes from or where we want to go to.
I want to go to Alpha Centauri.
Yeah, he would have been the one to plot your route and stuff like that had he not.
Plot your route. take a left at Jupiter. You can't miss it. It's on your right. But yeah, and some of these deaths are odd. Like, they're just weird. And so we're going to get into that. But one of the things that I like about this show is we come complete with interview clips. How about that? That's never happened before. A bunch of them are was Tim Burchett is a senator, correct?
Yeah,
I
Kentucky, I
don't know
believe,
what.
senator.
Yeah, from Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah.
So, well, he's. I would have to say, and this is surprising to hear a Republican go this, because they're usually we're the greatest people in the entire universe. We're the only people in the entire universe. God is great, type of people. So to have a sitting Republican congressman from Tennessee be like, I want to know all about aliens and like all of our technology that deals with extraterrestrial life and blah blah blah. I want to know all about it. It is strange to me, and I give him full kudos for publicly wanting this out. He has called for full disclosure. Like, every single one of these clips, he's like, "We need answers. We need the information. Release it. Release it now."
Well, because I think technically, if we don't, if depending on how we release this information or how it gets released, like, you're going to kill any trust that is there for the government if you find out that they've been hiding really terrible shit for 80 years and pretty much were forced to expose it to you, and it wasn't their choice to release any of this information.
Well, gosh, that would be terrible to ruin their 25% or 25% approval rating as it is now,
Yeah.
or even lower when we're talking about Congress. So yeah, that would be terrible. However, will they recover? We've already talked about this.
Would they?
Like, and would they just completely obliterate people's trust in the government? But we've talked about this tons of times. Like, I already don't know.
Oh, yeah.
even this, what's going on now, like what we're talking about this episode is like I'm still like, what is legit and what is not? What is being let out in general and what is being specifically pointed at? Because I mean, there's a lot of things here, circumstances and like what they did, and I get that they're all in this field, but it's like sometimes bad shit happens, and so
True.
I'm just wondering who went back, who was the person that brought forward this theory that these specific scientists were being offed on purpose.
Well, now I have heard he was a former intelligence agent, and I can't remember who it was because I would have grabbed that clip as well. But he basically was talking about this and saying from the point of view that they were thinking that it was like a CIA operation or something like that. And he said that would be like going in the kitchen and killing the cook when they're the only ones who can make the meal. He goes, as opposed to going into the kitchen and taking out the assistants that he likes to get him in line and get him to do what you want him to do, to where we wouldn't really be doing this stuff. But McCasland himself also is the one who basically inspired DeLong to put out all his information, even though he's saying it's a fiction.
Put this out. I'm going to deny that it exists. I'm going to deny that it's real, but it'll be out there at least. But yeah, all right. Damn it. Hold on. Okay, it's that one. All right. So, speaking of a military insider, you did clip a person by the name of Anthony Williams. Did I say that right?
Yep. Yeah, that's his name.
And he went on a podcast. I'll give kudos. I like the name. Unidentified Alien Podcast, UAP. Clever. I will give you credit on that one. That's clever. So this military intelligence insider, Anthony Williams, goes on this podcast, and he's talking about, and this kind of sets up, kind of the background information as to like these people's lives and what they give up and what they get back as they go through the process of being, having these top secret clearances and working on these projects. I have some issues with some of it, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
It sure looks like these were probably people that were sympathetic to disclosure, that were viewed as a liability to anyone that does not want this stuff to be disclosed. Yeah, well, and there's a couple things that are even more alarming. So each one of these individuals carried the highest level of security clearance that we have in the government, and for the ones within the military, but all of them carrying a security clearance, you're bound by the rules of that security clearance for the rest of your life, up to and until the time that those things are declassified. For secret information, the soonest that information is even eligible to be considered for declassification is 25 years. And the soonest that top secret information is even considered for downgrade in security classification is 50 years. So these are topics that these individuals worked that in their lifetime will most likely never be declassified. So with that, and specifically for the military ones, the general and in particular, when you retire from the military, you don't become a civilian. You move from the active roles to the retiree roles. You maintain your rank, you maintain privileges, pay, all these different things, not your active duty pay, but your retiree pay. And so all the things that you sacrifice a certain amount of civil liberties when you choose to serve in the military, and you get some of those back in retirement, but some you do not. So The fact that he was read to these programs, the fact that he worked in the areas he did, for instance, him traveling on vacation to China or Iran or Cuba or Russia, those are never, even in retirement, those are never an option for an individual like that because of the level of information he has. Him being captured by an adversary is potentially a critical risk to the United States. So the fact that he's missing, the fact that these people with the level of information they have and the access to the things that they worked, every one of them potentially poses a critical risk to the United States. The fact that they are missing, in my opinion, is that they were asked to meet with someone and they didn't want to bring any electronic devices with them or anything with them. And then it turned out not to be what they thought it was. So that is a more likely scenario of why someone like the general would leave their phone behind, because they don't want that electronic device near or associated with whoever else's electronic device they're meeting with. And that meeting could have been asked for a number of reasons from a number of people that would trigger that behavior. And that, we do that for operational security. And we do that to safeguard ourselves, safeguard the people we're meeting with, our families, all the things you named. But do I believe that there's a likelihood that they voluntarily disappeared with no notice to their spouses, to anyone? Highly unlikely. Even if the general was going to go off grid to safeguard his family, I don't know too many people that wouldn't at least share that data with their wife and say, hey, I'm being threatened. Things aren't good. I want you and the kids to go on vacation. I am going to disappear. I will reach out when I can. But I want you to know that and at least have that conversation. There's no inclination that any of that happened. What is more likely in my mind is that they were asked to have a meeting with someone. They intentionally left their electronic devices behind to not have those associated with the meeting. And it was not what they thought it was.
Wow.
I think that guy's an idiot. I'm just going to say that right off the bat. Obviously, he is the. I think he is the oxymoron of military intelligence. Like he's the personification of it. So, I get that. Here's what I don't like about everything that he just said. Well, not everything. Most of what he just said. I get the whole 25 years and 50 years thing. You and I were talking about this before the show, Anthony, in general sense. But the president can declassify anything he wants at any time. So the whole, like, they're going to be bound by this probably for the rest of their lives because the natural order of things is this isn't considered for 25 to 50 years. Is moot if the president tipped over my water bottle. If the president chooses to declassify something, if he's going to come out as you think, it's June, just like 2 months,
June or July 8th, yeah,
that's right. It was like July 13th or something like that,
8th or something like that, yeah.
I remember thinking that it was like right after the 4th of July. So we're a couple months away, supposedly, from Trump coming out with everything. So he's going to declassify that shit. He's got to. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to do it. So it's one thing that I don't like. And I don't care if he wants to say like 25 to 50 years, as long as he adds that in there, the whole part. But like if the president can declassify anything he wants. So if he wants it to come out to the public, it can come out to the public. And then they're not bound by it anymore. The other thing that I don't like is him setting this scenario up where there was like some secret meeting that went wrong. Like it's like basic knowledge that your phone is tracked, that your phone can be a listening device. You don't take it if you don't want to be tracked. It's got nothing to do with a meeting. Like if you're leaving and you're leaving, you don't take your cell phone. You have a burner or something that is not, is not in your name or something that the government or the military doesn't know about. Like that's the only way the way to do it. You don't take anything that can get you tracked. And leave, who knows? I mean, this guy's a retired general. I can't imagine that they didn't put a tracker in his shoes in order to figure out everywhere that he goes. The second thing is the not telling the wife. Like if I'm military, especially a general who's probably been read and designed, and military people, then government will go to extreme lengths to get information. Like they don't give a rat's ass whose wife, brother, mother, whatever. They want information, they're going to try to get it. So the last thing you want to do is give any sort of notice, as hard as it is. Like my wife, my children would be the last people I would tell. Because if your wife knows that you're leaving and you're just going to disappear, and you disappear and then the cops come, they know that you're not distraught. They know that you're putting on an act, or like you're not as upset as you should be should your husband suddenly disappear. And so what are they going to do? They're going to interrogate the living F out of your wife.
Yeah. I was going to say, I would think that would open them up to questioning at the very least. And
exactly. Yeah.
Hopefully it's public and not you're just picked up in the middle of the night and ferreted off into some who knows where.
Yeah. I mean, and I can't imagine whether he knows about him or not, and I can't imagine he wouldn't. I'm assuming the NSA like has an analyst specifically designed to listen to every single thing that this guy says ever to anybody. Like I bet their phones are hacked, both of them. Their house is mic'd. I mean, like I don't know where you would go, and if you tried to like pull her to the side in the middle of a park, I'm sure even then they're like, what are they doing out there? What are they talking about? And then he disappeared. The wife knows. I mean, so honestly, like the last thing that I would do is tell my loved ones where, even that I was just leaving. You don't have to tell them where they're going, just leaving. And the safest way for them is to not know anything, which sucks. I agree. But if you're trying to save your life and the life of your family, it's got to be done. What are you looking up?
Oh, I was looking at the company that he was working for, because I know that not only would the government be keeping track on him, I'm imagining a private corporation of that magnitude would also keep tabs on someone that knew their inner workings and stuff like that, like he did.
That would be hilarious if like one faction of his employment like tracked his phone, the other corporation put a bug or a tracker in his wallet. Like they just have their own little pieces of his life that they take from him. So anyway, that's just what I that's why I don't like what he's saying. It seems to me like he's specifically trying to set up that there is a conspiracy out there.
Oh yeah, definitely. That is where that is.
And directed to a certain kind of conspiracy. Instead of even throwing out the option of maybe he left on his own and didn't tell his wife for the specific purpose that I just said, it's, oh no, I think he had a meeting that just went wrong. Okay. And I think he even kind of hinted at everyone that's missing had some sort of meeting that wasn't,
and that doesn't really fit all of them.
Well, right. Exactly. I mean, we'll get to, obviously Reza. No, did I say that right?
Yeah, it's Reza.
It is Reza. Okay. Yeah. Reza's hiking with friends and like waves to him, and then all of a sudden she's gone. Like she's not there for a meeting. I don't think anyway. She wouldn't bring her friends if she was. But that's my take on it. What about yours? Like, how do you feel about what he said?
he's definitely setting up the clandestine aspect of it, which, like I said, I heard another a former CIA intelligence officer talk about you don't kill the cooks, you kill the assistants to get them in line. You if his family were to go missing or something like that, and then all of a sudden he wants nothing to do with the public, or you get pictures of your kid in compromising or just where they're at in general, all of a sudden get sent to your house, that would kind of send you a message as well. So you really, I really would hope that our military is not doing that stuff like that, even though I kind of am leery of some of the stuff that will come out when things eventually start coming out. I do wonder about private companies and what they would do to keep their secrets and their revenue flow in place and stuff like that. So I've kind of we've all heard bad things about some of those companies out there during wars and stuff like that. So can you imagine what they would do to keep their secrets?
Yeah. Okay. You didn't really. There's not a lot of information on that one. All right. I just thought maybe there was something more. So here's what we're going to do.
One?
The very first one, Michael David Hicks.
Oh yeah, because he was the first.
So they didn't really look into it very much.
Yeah.
Now hold on. They're saying he's the first. Whoever came up with the whole, like, here's where it started, is saying that it started with him.
Well, according to the news and stuff, there's only 10 anyway. But yeah.
Well, according to this,
13.
According to your list, it's 13. There's 13 now.
Well, yeah.
Started in July of 2023 and ended with Major General Neil McCasland in just February of this year. So so far, nobody, either now that it's gotten public attention, they've stopped. They're like, there's too much heat on it right now. Let's pause for a minute or two. Or what? I don't know. But let's go. Let's do the first four, because then obviously we want to play the interview of somebody who knows about Monica. Yeah, Monica Reza. I'm not going to try her middle name. Jacinto.
Yeah.
Go me. I was totally going to go Jacinto.
No,
Jacinto Reza. But so, like I was saying, so July 2023, Michael David Hicks. He's a 59-year-old physicist. And the fact that Caltech is associated with a couple of these, like, I just go straight to the Big Bang Theory. I'm just like, I just want one of these names to be Sheldon Cooper.
Or Wolowitz.
Wolowitz was I guess, honestly, out of all of them, Wolowitz would be the one that would go, because he worked on, like, the Mars rover and his little space toilet, which I found hilarious that the Artemis crew had that problem in there with their toilet, and I'm like, I'm like, that's just a little too on the nose for me. Like, that's like, did they steal the Big Bang Theory's, like, blueprints? Like, I don't, like, that's just hilarious, that the fact that we like went to the moon and stuff in this capsule, and it has a malfunctioning toilet. Love it.
Yeah, I wonder if they're reevaluating the mission plumber now to add to their crew.
So hey, Jason and Grant right there, they're plumbers. Just saw a video the other day of Jason in his Roto-Rooter outfit, doing something about plumbing or something like that. So anyway, 59-year-old physicist employed at the JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory for NASA, dies in Los Angeles. The thing about it is that it doesn't say, like, how he died. Do you know? Like, have you found anything as to how he died?
I didn't see a lot of details on him, because, like I said, he was he was the first. So let me see real quick. My notes.
Yeah, 33-month window of targeted attrition affecting the JPL Caltech ecosystem.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot. There's not a lot of him. It just labels him patient zero. So basically, and I think his was ruled a misadventure. So someone just happened to be a thug who found his way to him and killed him, and
Oh,
he was
Lord.
I guess, yeah.
Like, can you get any more cliche than the
No,
random mugging gone wrong? Like that.
no, that and there's quite a few of those throughout these that the police are like, well, he got mugged and they killed him. Place closed. We caught the guy and moving on to the next case. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah. Where's the one that really threw me for a loop? I think that's the Nuno Felipe Gomez L. But we'll get to that because that's December of last year.
Oh yeah, that
So
one's
anyway,
a crazy one.
yeah. So we're on to Frank Mewald.
Yeah, Frank Mewald, deceased. He's a 61-year employee at NASA's JPL, died in Los Angeles, California. Notably, his death was followed by a period of complete silence in official reporting. Like Hicks, his space science provided foundation. God, I can't say that word.
Foundational.
Yeah, I don't know what happened this morning. To the surge of events in 25 and 26. So those were the two that I think those were the two test cases. Can we get away with this? What we do this one, next we do that one, and no one seems to be noticing. So let's go full speed ahead. I mean, that's just my
the trial runs.
Yeah, the trial. Those were the two trial runs right there.
Yeah, I mean, to see if people could connect them.
Yeah, they waited about a year exactly, almost. So that's kind of bizarre in of itself.
Like there's a lot of like they remind me of me, honestly. Like I procrastinate and I procrastinate and I procrastinate even more until it becomes a huge list, and then on some random day I do it all at once. Like
Just
that,
knock
this
it
just
out.
seems to be this. Like they're just wait. There's like, oh, you know what? I got the energy. I got the time. Let me go kill 3 of these people and get this over
Well,
with.
they have that down there. It's in there too.
Well, I know.
They had
That's
a
why I
day where
said
they wanted to knock it out.
want to knock it out of the park. Like, oh, let's take out these 3 right now. It's been long enough. Okay, so 1 in 23, 1 in 24, and now we're to 25 where everything like just blows
Picks up. Yeah.
So we have May, so not quite a year, of 2025. Anthony Chavez, 78-year-old former employee of the Los Alamos National Laboratory. He vanished in Los Alamos, New Mexico. So he has not been considered, he's not deceased like the other 2 so far. He's now missing, disappeared.
Yeah. His disappearance is the alpha for McCasland. He walked out, left his phone, left his information, took a gun, and was never seen again.
Well, hasn't been seen so far.
Yeah, has not been seen so far.
Yeah, and so he is obviously affiliated personnel at the New Mexico National Security Corridor. So again, top security clearance. You heard Williams, Anthony Williams, and the thing for saying, even if you're retired, you're not exactly
You're not
retired.
really.
Yeah,
And he basically, even though he's, I guess, would considered a logistics person in his job, he was the one who was supplying materials that go into the bombs, the radar detection, and all those other components that go into the military, the nuclear, and those particular aspects of it. So the news stories that I saw initially on him were like he was a supply sergeant or basically a supply clerk at this place, and it was like, yeah, but a supply clerk producing or handing out the stuff you need for nuclear missiles and the nuclear program in general.
I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just general policy, but I can't imagine a supply clerk needing a top secret clearance.
Well, if you're handing out nuclear
Well,
material
I
or
mean, that's what I'm
nuclear
saying. If it's
components,
general policy,
yeah,
if you want to be involved in this project, you have to have it, no matter what your role is. You could be a janitor there, and you need a top secret clearance because you're going to be exposed to stuff. Like, fine, I
yep.
get that. So yeah, and now we're up to Monica Jacinto Reza. I don't want to. I don't want to like throw out any like non thing, but the thing that surprised me is like how many, I don't want to say immigrants, but like how many like non-white people is on this list.
Well,
And I think that's amazing. Don't get me wrong, not that they're on the list, but that they're involved in this period. But I'm just
high
thinking back
levels.
on what is going on now. I'm like, Monica Reza, Steven Garcia, Nuno Felipe Gomez, thing I can't pronounce.
Chavez.
Melissa
Yeah.
Casillas or whatever. Like, there's a lot of like Latino, like names on this list, and good for them for being part of it, being part of the projects, I should say. But yeah, it's interesting of how many there are. So I'm going to play this interview that a man by the name of Whitley Strieber gave. Do you remember what show he was giving this interview to? This News Nation again?
No, that one was on that UFO podcast because he's
that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't.
He's Scottish. He's Scottish, so it would be, he has a really thick accent. It sounds like you're listening to, I don't know. I always thought it was like Lord of the Rings, one of the hobbits from the Shire that he sounds like. So I don't know. I was flipping around and caught that, and then I listened to it every once in a while.
Gotcha. So this Whitney Strieber is talking about Monica Reza and the work that she did and everything. So we'll give it a listen, and we'll be back on the other side.
They want us to, and I know this because of the way they act toward me. They're very careful not to let me capture their technology. Let me put it that way. Now, there's a case recently of a woman named Monica Jacinto Reza who disappeared north of here in the Los Angeles mountains. Contextually, it was almost certainly an abduction by them, and I would be surprised if she's coming back. And it's important to understand what she was working on. She was working for the United States Air Force in a extremely secret project, developing ultra durable materials that could stand extremely high heat and stress levels. These materials are essential to the functioning of electrogravitic propulsion and the energies that are developed around that. And this was her area of expertise. She had already developed a super strong material for rocket engine nozzles and things like that. So she knew what she was doing. And taking her out means that was set back. I don't think the ones I am dealing with would have done that, would have tried to set us back. I do think that there are those who don't want us to learn this and do not want us to gain agency in our relationship with them. And they will act negatively against us. And I think that happened in the Reza case.
Well, there you go. So yeah, Reza hiking in the mountains with two of her friends. And
yeah, there's two of her friends. One of the one friend was has been sealed. The one friend is that there, whoever it is has been classified, so you do not know who the second person that was with her is. There's only on the record of the one. The second one was classified, removed from all identity from the reports, and yeah, that's just bizarre in of itself.
So we don't know if, I mean, they only gave the one witness,
Correct.
and there was nobody else but the quote unquote the three, the her and her two friends. So we don't even really completely know if what they say is the actual story.
True. Yeah.
So
I
I
was
mean,
like,
they say like the story is obviously she waved from like 30 feet. They continued on down the trail, thinking she was with them, and she was gone. Like
yeah.
we don't even know if that's actually what happened. We have one person on file that says this is the story, and they wiped out everyone from the other one, or for the other
Yeah.
witness altogether.
Yeah. The other person has been classified, and any of their statements are not in there, not in the record.
So Stryber mentioned, did he mention? No, he didn't. Her cell phone. I mean, he mentioned her cell phone, but not that. And this has happened in a couple cases, but their cell phone was factory reset.
And this is a big deal. That this not her personal cell phone, because that was reset, I believe, as well. But the fact that her government phone was reset, factory reset, that requires administrator access. I can guarantee you, if you work for one of those places, you do not have administrator access, and it's not an accident when those things get reset.
No, there's not. Even if you don't want it to, it can be hacked by somebody who knows what they're doing. How you see it on Skinwalker Ranch all the time. Their
Yeah.
iPhones, suddenly going nuts. It is being hacked for whatever reason. I agree with you on that one, because I mean, I have had company phones, and I obviously do not have top secret clearance about shit. I don't even
Yeah.
have low clearance on anything. But like, I'm given a phone by my company, like I can't even download, solitaire onto my phone. Well, rightfully so. Sorry to say. But I mean, I get you there. Like, your company doesn't want you touching your phone. And if it's government,
Yeah.
I can see that. Because I mean, that was my question, is who reset it? Did she reset it? I mean, I can't imagine that. Like I said, it can be hacked. I mean, you have an aerospace engineer who can develop super alloys. I can't imagine that an administrative lock on her phone is that hard to go around for her.
Probably not. She was, one of the things to point out about her is that she was a gifted metallurgist. She came up with this stuff where other people could not come up with these formulas, almost as if it was like a download, or she just tapped into something that other people could not tap into and work these formulas out. Because her being gone is I would think, a huge blow to that particular industry, because there's no one that is going to be next in line to just let me come up with these formulas that she was doing and go from pick up right where she was. It's going to take time to catch back up to where she was, if they can.
Okay. So we now have 2 deceased, 2 missing. So next on the list, we
Oh,
have.
before you
Sorry.
go to the next one, the other thing is, when they were doing this, when search and rescue was looking for her,
Yeah,
someone was
so I forgot
officially
about that.
classifying her as, someone was classifying her as pretty much dead and buried already, which is, requires the coroner's signature and all the other formal paperwork and stuff like that. So they're still out searching for her, and she's already being classified as dead and buried and gone.
Green Burial Memorial was created for her just 4 days into the active multi-agency search. Yeah. Which means
is another crazy thing.
which means they want her, quote unquote, dead on paper.
Yes. She is, for
So
all intents and purposes, gone.
disappeared. So we had Anthony Chavez in May of 2025. Monica was just June 22nd, 2025. So
Yep.
about a month later, 4 days after Reza went disappearing, June 26th, Melissa Casillas, I hope I'm saying that right.
You did good.
53 years old, administrative assistant at Lanel. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. The Los Alamos National Laboratories.
Yeah. So the same thing as Anthony Chavez.
Yep.
But she's also a member of the Department of Energy Advisory Board.
Yeah, that's a big one. Because I don't think a lot of people who aren't in the know don't realize that the Department of Energy is really has a lot of access to information that people are trying to get to, and can classify things like on a whim. It can be classified, and you can have your patents and ideas and stuff basically said that they're state security secrets, and you're done.
I mean, and if anybody's like me, and I kind of feel embarrassed that I didn't know this until obviously in the last year and a half, but the Department of Energy oversees the nuclear program.
Yep.
I mean, anything that has to do with the nukes, the nuclear program of the United States, goes through the Department of Energy. So very that's a much more important department of the government than I ever gave it credit for.
Which
I
is
honestly,
kind of
I
why
honestly, yeah, I didn't. I honestly thought the nukes were under the guise of the military. Like I thought
like
the
Egg said,
military took care of the nukes.
yeah, no, they're the face people, but they're not the behind the scene. These are the people behind the curtain.
Yeah, that's about it. But here's what I find so interesting. An administrative assistant, which is a nice word for secretary,
Yes.
is on the Department of Energy Advisory Board. How does that equal up?
So so they've shown some of these things in shows and stuff like that, where they have an assistant, who the assistant is there to keep the director or whoever she's the assistant to keep them in line. Be like, well, we're going to do this, and the assistant's like, well, maybe we shouldn't do that because this could happen and that could happen. So her being an assistant is kind of could be a cover for a handler or something like that to whoever is in charge or thinks they are.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that shit if I was you.
Yeah.
Assistant. Yeah. So and maybe this is just the way you phrased it in your original email to me about the circumstance or whatever, but it says she went home and then vanished along Route 518 from her home. Yeah, Route 518 from her home.
Yeah, they said that she went home early because she was having anxiety or some sort of panic attack or something like that, and went home for the day and then left her house and disappeared. They don't know where she was going, but after she left the house, she went down this Route 518 and just disappeared into nothing, just like Reza. And just like Reza, her personal and work phone that ties to the Department of Energy was factory wiped, which is another. I mean, again, you don't have administrator access to those things.
And like Reza, her government phone and her personal cell phone were factory wiped, back to the factory default settings the exact day she disappeared.
Yep.
So, again, if she's on the Department of Energy Advisory Board, she's not an idiot. Like
No.
And again, I want to know, like, my question right now is, did they wipe it? Or, I mean, like, did like Monica and Melissa wipe their own phones? Or were they wiped by the people who uh, wanted her gone?
I don't think they wiped them. I don't know. It feels weird to think that they wiped their own phones like that. And like I said, maybe Reza would. I mean, I don't know. Maybe like I said, that Casillas was a handler for someone, and maybe she did have more knowledge than just a secretary or an assistant to somebody that like that. But it just eerily, a couple of days after Reza, now you have another person in another part of the country that has almost the exact same thing happen.
Yeah. So almost 2 months after that, we're now in August of 2025. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about Stephen Garcia?
Yeah. August 28, 25, Stephen Garcia, 48-year-old top secret cleared property custodian for the National Nuclear Security Administration, reported missing in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He oversaw tens of millions of dollars of equipment and components building nuclear weapons at Kansas City National Security Campus Albuquerque facility, which is very eerily familiar because that is almost the same job that Anthony Chavez had as well, or along those same lines, as he was supplying those same kind of parts.
Kansas City. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done. My apologies.
No, I was just going to say it's just it's almost like Chavez was the precursor or the blueprint for Garcia later on.
I'm sorry. I was just marveling at their name. The Kansas City National Security Campus Albuquerque facility. Okay. I don't know the long, and includes 2 cities, but okay, sure, why not? So, property custodian. So, I mean,
another supply clerk, essentially.
But building of military nuclear weapons. I mean, that could easily. I mean, I'm getting into conspiracy theories here, and I don't mean to, but I am.
It's hard not to fall into those.
Well, I mean, it's hard just not to ask the questions because, again, trust of government is 25% or lower. They do. I think back to the movie Independence Day, where they bring the president to Area 51, and he's like, "Where do you get funding for this?" And the father is like, "Well, you don't think they spend $20,000 on a hammer, $40,000 on a toilet seat, do you?" Like, it's what they have on paper is not even could not even be remotely what they're actually doing. I mean, this may be military nuclear weapons, but that could be just a cover for alien space weapons development, or whatever it is that they're doing.
Well, I mean, look at the stuff that Burchett has said, where he's talked about if he could release what he's seen in the close gifts, that it would make people not be able to sleep at night.
I love that. He's like, "You won't believe what I just saw. Like, you would lose sleep over it." And he's like, "It should be released."
Yes,
we all should. He says, "We all should see this stuff." Like, he builds it up very dramatically as something you don't want to see, something that would, and then
but now you're like, I want to see it.
Yeah, and now it's well, yeah, we are sure. But then he either is like, it should be released, everybody should see this, or he's like, because I think he said something, he misspoke, or maybe he spoke true and then changed his words, but he said something about worrying, like you would be up at night worrying. But then, like, he walked it back. He's like, I don't think there's anything to worry about. But he even says like things he doesn't even. You know what? This is a great segue. We got 3 interviews of stuff that he's done just this month. This is just this month. And we're only halfway through it. And we got 3 interviews, 3 different interviews that he has done where he's talked about this. And so since we're like probably halfway through the list, let's intermission here. Let's play these 3 interviews. And I want to stop in between each one and just talk specifically about the interview, the clip that we're playing. So this is from April 1st, and I think he's on News Nation in this one, correct?
The first one should be News Nation.
Yes. So he's being interviewed by a host of News Nation. This one is a little long. I mean, it's like 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's the longest one.
Yeah, because I'm just going to warn people. They reference and even play in this clip. They play a clip of outrageous shit said by Matt Gaetz. And if you don't know who Matt Gaetz is, as Anthony didn't until recently,
I was unaware.
Today, he's the former congressman who resigned in disgrace because he pretty much human trafficked underage girls across state lines in order to have sex with them, and was Trump's #1 pick to be attorney general. Only the best people. So they play a clip during this interview about an interview that Matt Gaetz did, and here you go.
Have you heard about this? An absolutely wild story at a time when we could be on the verge of some kind of disclosure about alien life and UFOs from the White House. They've said this. 4 people who worked in government programs and knew a whole lot about that topic have either vanished or have been murdered. The first was retired General William Neil McCasland, who had ties to UFO programs in the government. He disappeared suddenly from his home in New Mexico in February. He left his phone, his glasses, and his watch at home. He also worked at an Air Force base that reportedly held the debris from the Roswell, New Mexico crash in the 1940s. Then it was Monica Reza, a former NASA engineer who worked directly under General McCasland on advanced propulsion engines. She vanished while hiking in California last June with friends who say they have no idea what happened. Then it was Nuro Lareyo, the director of plasma science at MIT. He was murdered in his home in Boston in December. And then it was Carl Grillmair, a Caltech astrophysicist who discovered water on another planet where there may have been life. Carl was murdered randomly in his home last month. Our next guest says this was not a coincidence.
Everybody's thinking it's UFO, but he had some nuclear secrets. There's just too many of them disappearing, Benny. Nothing happens by coincidence in this town or around this town.
Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett is joining us. He's also a member of the Oversight and Foreign Affairs Committee. Congressman, good to see you. What do you think's going on here?
Well, I don't know exactly. I just know there are no coincidences in this town. These folks have disappeared or died mysteriously, and there's the only thing that ties them together is the fact that they worked on things that are dealing with outer space, whether it's UFOs or nuclear secrets or missiles or what have you. But I think we need full disclosure. When I'm in a meeting, in a closed door meeting, and I ask about the president's points on these, and then I'm told by some arrogant, unelected bureaucrat that the president is on a need-to-know basis, I think that says everything it needs to be said about what's going on. I think there's an arrogance, there's an underlying, and I talked to the president about this. I said, it's just layers of the onion, Mr. President. You peel one off, and there's another one underneath. You put your top people in, and it's just too much to clear out in 4 years. And it's just, we've got a real problem, I think, in this area. And I think you've got some arrogance. When I sit in a meeting and some little punk with a man bun is sort of running the show, and you have decorated military officers in the meeting there that are basically unallowed to say anything, and you can read their faces what's going on.
Well, General McCasland, he was not a minor player at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. He was there for more than 35
Patterson.
years. At one point, he was the top guy at that base. And he just disappears. His family has no idea what happened. Do you think the cases are connected, or do you think this is just some absolutely wild coincidence? Because all four of these people are also connected in some way.
Yeah, I think some of them could be a domestic issue, but I think overall, I think there is a connection there.
Okay,
And
so you do think this is a
I don't
conspiracy?
think we're ever going to know, because it'll come out, and it gives enough time for the trail to go. You know, it's like when a kid in Washington, D.C. gets they find him dead, and they claim that he was mugged, yet his watch and wallet and he's got cash on him are not taken. But that's just the story that's put out, and that's what we believe. So
Yeah.
I just do not believe this is by coincidence.
And people just do not disappear. And the connections between all four of these people,
not in this day and age. No, yeah. You've got to have some real inside type of operation.
Okay, I want to play you a soundbite. Former colleague of yours, Matt Gaetz, making some pretty shocking statements yesterday about aliens. Take a look.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. Aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants.
All right. I mean, you know, I don't have the tinfoil hat on just yet, Congressman, but I'm wondering, you know, kind of how you react to that, because you are connected. You're on the UFO subcommittee. I mean, I'm just wondering what you make of that. Have you heard anything like that?
Well, I'm still a member of Congress, so I can't really comment too much on what Matt said. But I will say this.
Wait, seriously? Are you being serious, or is that tongue in cheek?
I'm being 100% serious. Okay. I've been 100% serious. I've been briefed by just about every alphabet agency there is. And I'll just tell you this. If they would release the things that I've seen, you would stay up. You'd be up at night worrying about or thinking about this stuff. We just need to disclose it all. I'm sick of it. Well, I was briefed. I'll just tell you this. I was briefed last week on an issue, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, and it would have set the earth on. This country would have come unglued, I think, if they would have heard all that I heard. They would demand answers, and we need to. But you know, it's never going to get. Unfortunately, it just keeps getting covered up, and the people that know are dying or disappearing, as the case may be.
Wow.
And for the record, I'm not suicidal, and I don't take risks. So,
I'm glad you said that. I'm speechless, Congressman. We
will
have you back.
You should be. And I told the president, release it all. And the problem is the people that are around the president don't know and the president doesn't know the questions to ask. A few of us are going to have to get with the president and tell him what he needs to ask and where he needs to look. I mean, you know, we're in meetings and they give addresses and tell locations of items, I'll just say. And the public has a right to know, dadgummit. It's your tax dollars.
Absolutely.
Let's get it out there.
You got my attention, Congressman. I appreciate you being as forthcoming as you have been tonight, and we look forward to having you back. Look, I know Donald Trump wants to disclose something. He hasn't done it yet, but I think he wants to be the president to do that. Tim Burchett, thank you.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I bet he does. The only problem is will they let him?
I didn't catch it at the time when I was getting those, but I also heard, I guess he took a dig at Gaetz too, because he was like, well, I'm still a sitting member of Congress.
Well, I mean, Gaetz isn't, which is why you can say weird ass shit. You know, when you told me, when you sent over these clips that, you know, one of them was Matt Gaetz. I mean,
yeah,
my reaction to that was, yeah, because he's a solid source of information.
Well, I'm wondering if he was like a disinformation type thing where they're like, well, we can tell this guy whatever because he's already disgraced, and no one's going to take any sort of account into what he says, or at least probably not.
Well, I mean, and I was thinking the same thing as I was listening to him talk, and I'm just like, Matt Gaetz will flip and say anything you want him to. He's got no scruples whatsoever. But you would think, though, that Burchett would easily be able to be like, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about what he's talking about. But instead he's like, I can't comment on that. I mean, and even the host is like, are you being serious right now? Like, you like pretty much just telling me that you know what he's talking about. He's like, oops. And in other interviews, and the one that we just played, we should have waited, because besides Reyes, like they said names of people that we haven't gotten to on our list.
Yeah.
So let's finish this list and then we'll play the other two clips. But I mean, I sorry, maybe we're not done discussing this one, but or the one we just played. Obviously, we made fun of the whole "I'm not suicidal." You know,
Oh,
so
yeah.
if I turn up, you know, dead with a gunshot wound, you know, it wasn't me.
Well,
You know,
so
if I
so
go ahead.
he's not. I was gonna say he's not the only one who's made comments like that. Now he's lighthearted, or I guess not as serious as like the whistleblowers and stuff like that. But I know Borland and all them have definitely had threats and insinuations that their lives were in danger if they didn't shut up about stuff. So yeah, I mean, he's a congressman. I'm sure I know that he's been told to, or Burleson's been told to take certain people off of his list if he wanted to continue being a congressman on this earth.
Um, the other thing that I think is very, very important here, and this is why I said if he's given permission to, you know, it's I read years ago that the military complex goes like you obviously, to the public eye, the president is supposed to be the top dog, the commander in chief of the military. Like, he runs the military, but it's absolutely not true. And
No.
you know, and it's often been stated that like the military levels go like 21 levels above the president. And you just had Burchett say right there, is like the president is on a need to know,
Yes.
which means anything that he declassifies, anything that he comes out with, like here in, let's just say he does it in July, it's been approved. And
Or they've dug their way into it, because there's also, I mean, that's when you really get into the conspiracy series stuff. But like, there's also talk that could have attributed to why what happened to JFK because he was digging into some of these things also. Although with JFK, it's hard to find a person or a side that did not want him not to be breathing, because he had the mob, he had the CIA, he had our own government. Like, I mean, I did not realize the amount of people that disliked him for various reasons.
you know, it's almost like being president. It is you have to be mindful of like your own survival. Like,
Oh,
if you become president, like, you put yourself in crosshairs, and not of like
definitely.
and not from like your own citizens who are upset that of this policy or not, like your own government, like the thing he or she, hopefully sometime in the future, runs, is going to kill him if he does something they don't like. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't know
Well,
who would want to be in public
the puppet.
service. Well,
Yeah,
not
I was
just
gonna
in
say.
public service. If it literally puts your life on the line.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I mean it's supposed to be a call to duty, and it's supposed to be you do your job, you go back to your private life, which that never really happens. But both Clinton and Obama both dug into, or tried to dig into, this subject as well. And I know Clinton, because he's said it before, that he was warned off. He was like, you keep digging and we'll have a memorial for you. And Obama was the same thing. He basically, and he takes little digs outside in his, like he did with that interview that he did where aliens are real, and then Trump came out and said all that stuff. So I mean, yeah, and I will say before I really dug into any of these things, when growing up on a military base, I had heard that the president is a temporary employee before growing up as a kid. Just never really paid much attention to it because you're like, whatever. That can't be true. But yeah, kind of seems like it is.
Yeah. And not even that important of a temporary employee. He's the administrative assistant
Yeah.
to the country, apparently. So yeah, as for alien breeding programs, doesn't really have anything to do with our topic now, unless these people who are suddenly disappearing, they had these jobs on paper, but what they were really doing is something along the lines of what Gates was talking about. I don't know. Gates could easily just be a smokescreen.
Oh, definitely. I felt it, and the reason that I grabbed that one with him is because besides Burchett, was that I felt it kind of played along with Stryber's comments and stuff like that. So kind of hand in hand there, but different. Just didn't know all the details about Gates at the time.
Why he's not necessarily the most credible sorts? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we just got done with Stephen Garcia. He went missing April 28th, 2025.
Yep.
So
and
here's
where they take a page out of your book.
And the thing about it is because you almost think, because you have deceased, that we talked about at the very beginning, the first two guys, and then all of a sudden you have missing. So it's almost like they gave up. They're like, hey, killing these people is not the way to go about it. So let's not do that now. Now they're just missing, which I don't agree with, and I'll get to that later. But now on October 25th, 2025, the same day, you wrote it down as the Wright-Patterson triple.
Yeah.
So 3 individuals associated with the Air Force Resource Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And that's the Air Force Base they're talking about, like hosts the Roswell wreckage.
Secret nuclear and everything. All the secret shit is there.
Yeah, right. Yeah. They pretty much consolidated, like Area 51 now, I think, is just an empty shell of a place. Like they have stuff going on to make it look like it's still active, but all of that stuff got shipped out. And I think Burchett didn't.
That's the look at what this hand is doing while the other hand is doing something that you don't need to see.
Yeah, exactly. And Burchett, I think, even in one of the interviews that we're going to play here in a couple minutes, he even says, like, if we schedule an inspection of like Area 51 or whatever, he's like, we're only going to find an empty warehouse. He's like, they're going to move everything out. And I mean, and honestly, you see that, and I don't mean to get political here, and I'm going to not, but I'm going to bring up something that's happening right now, but they're seeing that in ICE facilities now. If Congress people schedule a walkthrough or an inspection, everything looks pristine. Like the numbers are low, everybody's comfortable. But if they just walk in,
sorry.
No, that's right. I was going to say, if they walk in, it's terrible. Like everything is just an absolute shit, a cluster F. And I think that's pretty much what this would be too. I mean, you're never going to get an unscheduled walkthrough of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, but I agree with Burchett there. Like if you tried to, you're going to find nothing.
Yeah, that to me is like scheduling a food health inspection at a restaurant and letting them know in advance we'll be here at this time on this date, and here's your A, and telling the drug dealers, be like, hey, by the way, we're gonna come check this warehouse where you store all your drugs on this day as well. So we'll see you then. And then they're like, nothing's here.
Yeah, you you have a health inspector schedule an appointment to do an inspection, there's going to be a deep cleaning going on the night before.
Oh yeah.
Like people are working all night to clean that shit up. Yeah, exactly. But if you walk in, yeah, there's rats and there's cockroaches in the flour. So anyway, we have now. I was going to ask you this before the show, and we just ran out of time. But Jacob and Jamie Pritchard, are they like husband and wife?
I'm assuming they were husband and wife, probably at the same. They're at the same facility, obviously. You get two people, and it's the thing to remember about this stuff is it's compartmentalized. So just because they're married, realistic or how it should work, they don't know what the other one is really doing. They know they work there, they know they're in this particular field, but they don't know the details of that, what exactly they're doing in there. You could be producing one piece to something that requires 50 pieces, and until you see them all assembled, you won't get the big picture.
Right. So we have Jacob Pritchard, Jamie Pritchard, and then First Lieutenant. Boy, they just like the name Jamie.
Yep.
Jamie Gustus. Jamie G.
Right.
Jamie G. So they're all employed. They're all part of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in this AFRL, which is the Air Force Research Laboratory. Each were found dead on October 25th of last year in 3 different Ohio counties. So Jacob Pritchard is an acquisition project manager. Sensors Directorate. Sensors Directorate.
Yeah, what that is basically. I was going to say what that is recovered technologies.
Gotcha. Because this has a division that develops classified surveillance technology, often used to track unconventional aerial phenomena, UAPs.
Yep.
We have Jamie Pritchard, who is a finance specialist at the Air Force Life Cycle Management Center. That doesn't seem like somebody that you would target.
Yeah, I'm
finance.
Well,
yeah, unless the problem is following the money.
Yeah, I was going to say follow the money, or Jacob decided to share something he wasn't supposed to share.
That came to mind too. Like you're tying up that loose end.
Yeah. Just in case.
And then First Lieutenant Jamie G, top secret cleared intelligence analyst. And that's it. Just an analyst. Officials quickly labeled the 3 deaths a domestic tragedy without releasing a motive or allowing the Air Force Office of Special Investigations to make findings public. A domestic tragedy that they're found dead in 3 different Ohio counties.
Husband and wife,
to me means
separate.
Yeah, that to me means they did some triple suicide in just different locations. It is, I would think a domestic tragedy would be, obviously a murder suicide.
Yes.
The husband or wife goes nuts, kills the spouse, and then kills themselves. What does the Jamie G have to do with it then?
Well, and even if they did that, in 3 different locations spread across the county, one is obviously a lieutenant in the military, and the other ones are civil service or private contractors for the military. So yeah, how that didn't set off fire alarms, I don't even know how that got covered up the way that it did.
Yeah, this is, let's just slap a label on it and leave it be. That's just what this seems to be. If you don't release the findings, then nobody has any proof that anything other than a domestic tragedy happened.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it was announced at the laboratory that here's a domestic tragedy. People be careful because we don't want those tragedies to happen to you either.
Yeah. Well, they let that sit for a couple months.
Well, they caught up. They've caught that list. They did those check boxes, and now they're ahead of
They're
schedule.
back to procrastinating.
Yeah.
We can put our feet up for a couple months. But obviously Nuno was one of the names that they were talking about on the clip that we just played. So
Yeah, they didn't touch on all his stuff though. So December 15th.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say December 15th, 2025, Nuno Felipe Gomez. I'm gonna butcher the last name.
I think they said it was Loureiro on
Okay.
the clip.
Deceased, 47-year-old director of plasma science and fusion center at MIT, fatally shot in the foyer of his apartment building in Brookline, Massachusetts. Leading global figure in magnetic reconnection theory. That's an important thing for the space. His death was officially blamed on a disturbed former classmate. However, independent analysis point out the suspect had a 14-year undocumented career history and left behind a confession citing suppressed emails. So that basically they gave him a 14-year cover. So his background is fake. The emails that he said were classified and suppressed, and they swept that under the rug. But the dude was, so how people say they see those giant triangles and stuff like that can just hover seamlessly without any sort of propulsion or anything like that. That is the technology that he was a leading person for.
So this is what blows my mind. And this almost seems to be like, I go back to the first Jack Reacher movie with Tom Cruise when they, the one guy was accused of being a mass murderer of 5 individuals, but it turned out that it was 4 innocent victims and 1 specific target. And the innocent victims were to cover up the specific target.
Yeah.
So get this. So the classmate that they say killed Nuno, his name's Claudio Neves Valenti, the former classmate. He carried out the mass shooting at Brown University. Like that, I remember watching. I never caught his name, but I remember turning on the TV, the news like I do every day, and seeing obviously another mass shooting at Brown University. Not another one at Brown University, but another mass shooting, this time at Brown University. And I think they said that the guy, was like still alive, but they're saying like this happened, and then a few days later, because he was jealous or a disturbed individual, he then goes to Loureiro's apartment building and shoots him, like one particular victim, just out of jealousy. Makes no sense. Like that.
And how is this guy out?
Well, I don't know if they caught him yet. I honestly, I can't think back that far. I don't know. I can't remember the timeline of that whole thing. But like, if I were like a drama person, like if my thing was to find, to find a way of killing somebody without making it look like he was assassinated, like that's something I would come up with. Like you create this massive like news thing of a mass shooting, which is going to be on the news forever, or at least for the next week, as they try to figure out, especially if he's at large, why did he do it? And then he just goes and shoots one of his former classmates. What? Like, makes zero sense whatsoever, unless you did mass shooting A so that assassination B would never be covered.
Well,
by the time
you're continuing a psychotic rage, or you're just a psychotic person.
Well, it gives you the context. Look what he did at Brown. Obviously, this guy was disturbed. I don't think that that's what that is whatsoever. Like
No,
I never even would have come up with this theory ever if somebody hadn't put it that the same guy did both of these things just days apart. Never would have thought that maybe the Brown University mass shooting was some sort of smokescreen for an assassination of somebody else. Never in a million years.
Yeah, that's even more suspicious about his career history that is all made up and none of it is true. And I don't know, it just seems like what you see on the clandestine type shows where they give you a cover and go to work.
Yeah. I mean, he even got a presidential early career award in 2025. I mean, I mean, director of fusion of science and fusion center of Massachusetts. Like, I don't know what this guy came up with. If he hits some breakthrough or what, but yeah, that's crazy.
His technology would be needed for deep space explorations, basically in the future, because that's the technology that'll take us past, or get rid of rocket fuel and stuff like that. So it'll be magnetics and stuff like fusion and magnetics.
Yeah, I mean, well fusion is just unending energy. I mean, obviously, you can't go to Mars on a lithium battery. I don't care what Musk says. You can't pull over and spend, $100,000 on putting new batteries in when you're halfway to Mars.
You just pull over at the local gas station and refuel back up.
Yeah, we need to plug this in. So, I mean, yeah, crazy, just absolutely crazy on the circumstances of that guy's murder. Just unbelievable to me. So this doesn't have a date. Do you happen to know when Jason this is again December, so this is the same month as Nunez was killed, but there's no date.
Well, they found his body in March 2026, but that was so he died in December 2025, or he went missing in December 2025, and they found his body 3 months later in March 2026
in a lake.
Yeah.
And he was a research also in Massachusetts, but Novartis, I don't know what they do. It was recovered from a lake 3 months later. Authorities refused to publicly disclose the cause of death, so it wasn't drowning.
No.
Leading analysts to link his case to the nearby Lucero homicide as part of a regional cluster of scientific deaths.
So yet another person connected to the MIT guy.
Yeah. Well, now we're into February of 2026. We're all good. They took a month off to celebrate Christmas, I'm assuming, and New Year.
Hanukkah or something, yeah. February 16th, 2026, Dr. Carl Johan Grillmair, deceased, 67-year-old Caltech astrophysicist, senior researcher, known for discovering water on exoplanets, was fatally shot on his front porch in Llano, California. Authorities characterized it as a random carjacking and burglary, but investigators noted that the suspect's prior felony charges had been mysteriously dismissed just months before the murder. So another person who should not have been out in the streets and was let out and expunged or removed from his records to go on this thing. And the dude lived out in the middle of nowhere too. It wasn't like he was in a crowded neighborhood or something like that. This is like literally in I think the high deserts is where he lived. So I can't see you going for a joyride in the middle of the desert to go rob somebody.
Like that. Again, it makes no, like this. It almost is like the one from the beginning. Like they're bringing back the whole like a mugging gone wrong. Like, how do you do a carjacking and a burglary? Unless the burglary was the car, and then you shoot somebody who's on their front porch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, they have a playbook, and if the playbook works, you just keep using the same playbook. You don't change the plans; you just alter it slightly.
Yeah. So then you have, freaking lunatics like you and me, doing shows about it. But again, Caltech astrophysicist, poor Cooter Polly, dead. But again, like the only reason you would take somebody like that out for discovering water on exoplanets is like you're giving credence and credibility to the fact that there could be life on other planets. Like that's the only reason that you would go after, unless he discovered something else. Like
Well,
he was threatening to go public or something.
Well, I mean, he probably was. I mean, look at some of the astrophysicists now that are out there that have found the older plates that they either didn't think about manipulating or didn't destroy, because a couple of universities destroyed those plates for whatever reason. But I forget what her name is. Burial. She's doing the plates that show the objects in the upper atmospheres that before we had satellites and stuff up. So here's the guy who could show you the map to these places, or where possibly these things came from, or where targets to go to are.
Yeah. And then that was February 16th. And now February 27th, retired Major General Neil McCasland. 68 years old, commander of the Air Force, the AFRL, vanished from their home, just as they were talking about, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Pretty much ran Wright-Patterson Air Force Base at one point. Had his hands in everything, like they were talking about, left behind his cell phone, his glasses, wearable biometric devices, and took a .38 caliber revolver and hiking boots. So again, somebody who took a gun and left everything else behind. His disappearance is highly scrutinized because he was previously outed in the 2016 WikiLeaks emails as a consultant on UFO disclosure. Definitely linking him to unacknowledged aerospace programs. And he is missing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's the one that talked to Tom DeLonge, and basically all the books that Tom DeLonge has come out with are based off of what McCasland had told him and a few others. So he definitely was a person that if someone knew, he did.
Okay. So we got through the list. So that's the 13 people they know of, or that they've tried to link together over the last 2.5 years.
Yep.
So I want to play the final 3 interview clips for Burchett, who we have reached out to. Anthony did.
Yes.
To see if he would like to come on the show. So far, we have not heard back.
That is like a process.
Well, it is a process because it's got to go obviously through a staff and everything else.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if there was even a glint of hope for him to come on, you and I would be background checked.
I'm background checked already, so at least they'll see that it should be easier for them to see who I am. So
yeah, and I work for UPS. I've been background checked. We're good.
So yeah,
I got clearance. I even got my hazmat, and they send me a letter that says I am of absolutely no threat. So
well, the FBI checked me off, so I think I'm good.
Yeah, you're probably good. So, the first one I'm going to play is from April 6th, and then there's 2 from 2 days ago, from April 17th. That we'll play. So this is the April 6th interview.
What did you see now? I guess it would be about 2 weeks ago. That was very alarming, the way you said that, at least.
Yeah, well, because of the circumstances and where it was, I can't get into too much specifics, but it was elaborating on some stuff that we'd asked for, and it was important to get this person in a secure setting to where we could ask him these questions. And there was somebody in the meeting with us, one of my colleagues, I guess you'd say, was basically there just to kind of upset the apple cart and to throw a monkey wrench into the deal. And every time the question was asked by this particular party, it was really the answers were out there, and they gave them, and they gave specifics, they gave addresses, they gave times and dates and people that were in the meeting. And this went all the way up to the executive branch of previous presidents, not this current president.
So there have been different reports over the years. Some reports that there have been pieces of machinery that were found that did not seem earthly. And then there have been reports about life that is not earthly. Which one of those two, or both, are you talking about? A form of life that is not earthly, or just something mechanical that's not earthly?
I'd say you'd be safe to say both.
The way you described this, whatever happened at this meeting, this briefing that was happening, was there something that if we knew, we would feel that we are in danger? You said you wouldn't sleep at night if you knew the things that I saw in these briefings.
Yeah.
Should we believe that that's the part where it seemed alarming?
I don't think we're at danger of this. I mean, if these things exist as I think they do, they could have destroyed us with a blink of an eye. I just don't see that. And I think I just think, but I do think they have the technology and the capabilities of something that we can't understand or we can't grasp.
What I want to make sure I'm understanding is a member of our government has told you and others, I guess, that there is a form of alien life and machinery which maybe brought this living creature here that interacted in some form with people?
Yeah, they have, and they've. It's pretty wild. I know, but I'm just telling you, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd take a lie to tell you. You want to put me on a polygraph, I'll take it. But this is what the guy told me. I mean, I've had a very high-ranking naval official describe. I've talked about this before. Underwater craft, something big as a football field, moving at over 200 miles an hour. And there's no fish in the ocean that would do that. We don't even have a sub that'll probably do 40 miles an hour under the. And the last thing he said before he left my office was, it was kind of weird because he didn't go out he went out the side door, which nobody ever uses. And he looked at me, he pulled me up close. He said, "Tim, they're real." And that's the last thing he said to me. That'll be the title of my book, I guess. Matt Gaetz was involved in something here just recently. He was interviewed and he talked about this interbreeding thing with.
We saw that. We saw that.
Well, that's a true story. That was military personnel. I think that would be a good story to talk to him about if you all can do that.
Right. He says he learned that from someone in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a guy, it was an officer in uniform. Yeah. And Matt and I and Representative Luna, we all went down to Florida, and we were turned away. And then Matt made a phone call to somebody at the Pentagon, and all of a sudden they opened the doors and brought the pilots in that were supposed to tell us the story in the first place. And he can probably elaborate a little bit more on that. But that was pretty fantastic. That was a made for TV special right there in itself.
Love the do. They were like we're on Judge Judy.
That's TMZ, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. So the reason that I was kind of chuckling because he tries to put in instead of confirming it, he starts to confirm. He's like, I think, and then he adds in my humble opinion, like this, but then he just goes right back to confirming it. He's he's like, yep. He's like, yep, they did this and they did that, and it. Did you splice together this at all?
No, those are the segments are no. That's from start to finish. You can go watch it online if you want.
That is it, because it was such a strange thing where the interviewer is like, "Are you saying that there is machinery here from another world and that there's life here from another world?" And he's just like, "I would say both," and then he just stops talking. He moves on to another question. What? I would like the follow-up, more
that?
details, please, than just, I would say both, and just leave it at that. What?
Yeah, maybe they edited something out, but yeah, that was the entire little clip that they had for it. So
Yeah, that is crazy to me. The only thing that would ever make me want to go on to another question is if you knew what the answer was already and that he wasn't going to say anything else beyond that. But like, that's everything right there. Yes. And then you tell the story of the military going, they're real.
yeah,
And then, I mean, why even give the notion that we don't know, we want this disclosed? Like, what are they like? You just admitted to everything. You didn't give it any details, but you talk about them as though you do. You're like, they could do this. Not, I think it like in a hypothetical situation, maybe they could. It's they could do this if they wanted to.
And we don't have anything that can do some of the things that we're seeing and we have on radar from the Navy and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, that just, I don't know what you say to that.
I am honestly, like, I've tried to leave him alone after I got a little excited and I started throwing out a whole bunch of other theories about aliens. I honestly want to send this list to Selig and see what he says.
That would be interesting.
And just be like, this is happening. What do you know about this? I mean, I know he's, I'm not going to give away anything in the book he's writing. I mean, he's talking about, kind of other things in his newer book, or the book he's writing right now. But like, this whole part, like, wasn't part of his book. So it's like, but then again, I don't know when he wrote his book, like, specifically. So this might have all happened since he's written it. And so that's why it wasn't a part of it. I want his opinion on these to see, because this is like right up his alley, especially everything that Burchett is talking about.
Yeah, because pretty much like you said, he's confirming, or just almost 100% confirming what they're saying. So yeah.
Right. So what's clip? Give me a second here. I'm trying to. Oh, no. Oh, the one that we just played was from TMZ. If he can go on TMZ, he can come on our show.
Well, it's just getting his handlers to actually get him that message.
Oops, hold on. Okay, this is the one I want. All right. So this is another clip from Burchett. This was 2 days ago. One of the two from 2 days ago, where he doesn't go into any names, but he talks about the missing scientists, and again is calling for disclosure and blah 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 blah. But it's still interesting because I don't know if this interview, like, in the middle of a hallway, because it has like a lot of the echo and stuff to it, or where this is, but it's got some interesting information.
Any authoritative figure that could come out with a level of credibility that
No.
would make Americans say,
Unless somebody walks out of one of those labs with something and releases it before they disappear or commit suicide by shooting themselves in the back of the head 12 times. I don't think it's going to happen.
and last one, what do we know, if anything, about these scientists?
It's actually more than that, actually, if you go back a little farther. But we know that they were in our aeronautical defense industry, or complex, just all around the spectrum on that. And it's
With clearance,
high level clearance. And you figure 10 of them, that we'll just say the 10. If there were 10 chefs across this country disappeared or died mysteriously, people would start questioning what if there were 10 used car salesmen dealerships, 10 preachers, 10 whatever, 10 masseuses, I don't care. I think America would probably take notice. And I think they finally are taking notice because this all fits in. And I know family members are going to say, well, they got nothing to do with the UFO, but generally they don't talk. They keep it. Most of those guys and gals are so locked down, they keep their mouth shut. Because they didn't. their nuclear secrets that they have would have already leaked out as well.
And it may be, futile effort, but is Congress looking at that at all? I haven't seen any.
Some of them are, but somebody. It's always just us on the fringe that are doing it, and there's a few of us that are involved. And I'd say there's about, I don't know, maybe 10 of us that are watching this thing pretty close and haven't peeled off yet. Because some of those people were, oddly enough, were people that I'd encouraged to come to meetings because I wanted people that were objective and maybe didn't believe.
Yeah. Some
in
of the
any
scientists, you mean?
No.
Oh.
Some of the members of Congress.
Oh, got you.
And now some of them are some of the. I mean, they're the biggest fans of this thing that I've seen, actually, because they came from nothing and then they see these things and they can be skeptical of some of it. Some of it is questionable.
All right, I will leave it here. Is there anything else that you want to share that we talk about?
I'm very frustrated with it too. I don't know that we'll ever get to the bottom of it unless Trump does it or unless one of these scientists walks out of one of these private labs and says what's going on. So I would hope. And people, and let me clarify something too. People say, you need to go to Area 51, you know, to Wright-Patterson, you need to go here or there. As soon as we announce we're going to go there, I don't think we're going to find, I think we'll probably find an empty warehouse. It's going to take the President of the United States to step up and say this has gone on long enough. We got to get to the bottom.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate the time.
Like I said before, if he's not given permission to do it, he's not going to do it. If there's anything that anybody can probably agree with when it comes to Trump, he cares about his survival more than anything else in the world. There's no way in living hell he's releasing information about this without being told he's not going to get assassinated for doing so.
Or he thinks he can put himself out in the public and
yeah. I mean,
or he figures that they've already tried and he's bulletproof.
We're not going to go into that, but that's okay. But yeah, I would be shocked if it actually happens. I think what is going to happen is he will use this, as he always does, as a smokescreen for something. He say he's going to announce it in 2 weeks, which is his timetable for everything, and then not do it.
Well, they do have to get all the coins pressed and everything like that for the pre-orders, because I don't know if you've heard about that, but apparently the government's coming out with an alien coin to commemorate as well.
Commemorate what? Oh, disclosure?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, Jesus.
We got alien.gov and whatever the other thing is, but yeah.
Ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I 100%, unless it's a specific order from the president, the U.S. Treasury ain't going to be minting alien coins. It's going to be some factory in freaking, South Carolina that agrees to do it. I mean, yeah, and it's going to be on QVC. Get your disclosure coin. It ain't going to be, it's going to be a commemorative coin, and it ain't going to be legal tender. I assure you on that one. But he Burchett, right? They're reiterated the whole, if we announce it, we ain't going to find anything. And I agree. But I like the fact that he's like us on the fringe. Like what?
I'm sure he's probably gotten told that.
Yeah. You fringe people. I would like to know the 10 people though that he's talking about that are looking at it like close.
I know Luna Burleson. I think Gillibrand is supposed to be interested in it, but I think she's one of the ones that they've talked about having an assistant in her office that is reminds her not to look at certain things or go certain places, or
she's got the administrative assistant.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that shit if I was you. But I don't. System's probably female, so I don't know why it was Mr. T, but that's okay. All right, there's one left. For these little interview snippets. So this is again from 2 days ago. So this must have been later in the day, either before or after the one we just played.
It sure looks like these were probably people that were sympathetic to disclosure that were viewed as a liability to anyone that does not want this stuff to be disclosed. Yeah, well, and there's a couple things that are even more alarming. So each one of these individuals carried the highest level of security clearance that we have in the government, and for the ones.
Wait a minute, never mind, we're done.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'm sorry. Well, I thought
the
that
original
I
one.
forgot. Yeah, that was the okay. My bad. That was Anthony Williams again. I was just playing the same clip we played first. My apologies. All I see is a date on the thing, so I didn't know. So anyway, the last one with Burchett, that was the only one that we have. So I'm going to ask you first because we're wrapping up here. What do you think? Do you think is your opinion here? What is happening?
Well, so I saw before we came on air, and it popped up on the YouTube feed that I guess Patel was doing an interview on Fox, and had said that I listened to at least the first part of it, and he was saying that it was not foreign powers, but he can assure us as being the head of the FBI that it has nothing to do with those things. So if you take his word for it and assume that it's not a foreign power, because that would definitely be a motivator to get rid of that and cripple our progress by a foreign power. You now take his word for it and wonder, is this a private corporation that we have dealings with that doesn't want to lose their revenue flow or their technology or any of that other stuff, if it is indeed because of disclosure? Or you have to follow along the same lines as Stryber being like, they don't want the monkeys in space and they don't want us looking around into their stuff. Of course, that kind of flies into the face of every person who puts out the whole space aliens or brotherhood and peace and all this other stuff. It definitely throws a wrench into that particular conversation. So I'm not really sure. The ones that kind of send off the biggest red flags are the ones that had their government phones reset, hacked, and classified as dead while the search is ongoing. I mean, that kind of smells of government cover up.
Done?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really lay it on the whole alien thing because I don't. Other than they could be pissed that because like when Burchett was talking about the Gates thing, they were talking about captive aliens being forced to procreate. So I'm assuming they may not like that.
So there's so many things interesting and wrong about all of this, and I'm going to go. I'm just going on the assumption that everything that's put here, the 13 names, are connected. That's that is true in what is going on. So I want to hit they want to set us back, blah, 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 blah. I don't think it's a foreign power. Like I go back to there's a book I believe it's called The Secret War. I think that's the title of it. Holly Hollis, I believe, is the name of the woman who wrote it. But and normally I wouldn't say any of this if it didn't actually have reality-based proof behind it that I've seen since reading it. And that is, whereas, yes, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call them, um, are here. They are peaceful. They don't believe that we're ready to go to Mars, that we're ready to be as far into space as we are. And so they do things to sabotage us. And I shit you not. I read the book, kind of got a chuckle about it. I'm like, oh, that might be could be reasonable, blah, blah, blah. I think like 3-4 months later, something like that, NASA, it was either NASA or SpaceX, and it was one of the two, tried to launch like a $5 billion satellite into space. He was supposed to do something like brand new, that, it wasn't just a run-of-the-mill telecommunications type satellite. Like, it was expensive and, was supposed to be for a very specific purpose. I can't remember what it is. Blew up. I believe it blew up halfway up to orbit, and it was like a $50 sensor or something like that malfunctioned, that blew up the whole flipping thing. And I'm like, well, if you wanted to sabotage us, that would be the way to do it. I'm like, one little misstep, one little, you turn a screw one, few too many times, and the whole plan gets scrapped because you screw everything up.
So you're saying taking the supply clerk out could have screwed that up? Maybe.
I'm not saying the people that are missing are dead. Yeah. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that if your mission was to set us back, then yes, you take away the people, you do something like that without their knowledge and their expertise, we can't do it. And you kind of mentioned the whole download thing. If Monica Reza is the one person that was, universally designed
tuned in
to have this knowledge, then removing her obviously sets the whole world back. If that is an aspect of, if she's working on an aspect of things that we should not be, that they don't think we're ready for. We obviously always think we're ready for. We're teenagers in their eyes. We're ready to go. We know everything. They're the parents that know we're not. They're like, you are just a dumb kid, so you might want to listen to us. So that's my opinion on that. Like, it's interesting. It's just the whole missing deceased ratio. It doesn't make sense. One, it's sloppy. It's absolutely sloppy. Like, before I even read this list, honestly, I was thinking about it in my head, and I don't know why I thought that they were all missing, but I'm like, if you were going to kill them, that would be the way to do it. Just have a whole bunch of random different shit that look random. And that's honestly all of these deceased people. They all just have this weird, like, burglary gone wrong or domestic tragedy. Like, it's a playbook out of like a teenager's, journal. Like, he typed into Chat GPT, what's the best way to cover up a murder? Like that, and they took, Chat GPT's advice. But I'm honestly wondering, and again, if these are all connected, how do some people get the missing note, kind of tag, and the other gets the deceased? And I'm almost wondering if they have been approached. Maybe they did have a meeting and they were asked to do something completely off the reservation. Leave your families, leave your blah, blah, blah. And if it's completely up to you, if you want to do this. And the people that said, okay, they went missing. And the people that said, no, they don't want to do it, ended up dead. However, I don't know. We're all guessing now. The thing that I have an issue with when it comes to the military, especially, is they don't like loose ends. They
No.
like everything tied up in a bow, like kind of like the whole green burial while they're still looking for her and she's already on paper being deceased. And their phones are wiped, obviously, to clear off all the information that could have been on them. Text messages, documents,
Locations.
blah, blah, locations, all that shit. All that shit's on your phone. So they obviously don't want that to be given. And I forgot where I was going. I hate when that happens because it was a really good point. What we have here has too many questions. I'm going to steal a line from Star Trek Next Generation, because there's an episode where they have to figure out some stuff, and he goes, humans love a mystery. Love a mystery. And we do. We can't stand not solving a mystery until we hit the dead end where we can't go any further. I would think the military, even if they're arrogant, would do something like the deceased. A burglary gone wrong, a car accident, somebody has a heart attack, whatever. That ties things up in a bow and gets people to not look. When people go missing, people want to know why. Family wants to know where their loved ones are. Journalists start picking up the scent. Now we have congressional. There's too much spotlight on this now. And I can't imagine that our military would be that sloppy.
Well, yeah, dropping bodies is kind of sloppy.
Well, if you can explain the dropping bodies away, then I can see them not caring. But half these people are gone. They're not dead. Nobody found a body. And now we have now we have congressmen looking into it. We have investigations, we have journalists going on TV and talking about it. We have two schmucks, here on StreamYard talking about it. Whereas if every single one of these people died in a random, tragic accident, you and I would never even know that this existed.
No, you wouldn't think twice. It would just get swept under the rug and you'd keep moving on. But
so
the fact of at least two of them were, like I said, two of them were gifted, at least in a way that putting us behind it definitely did.
Yeah. There is far more going on here than just people either going missing or deceased. Who has those answers and is going to be, I have no flipping idea. Maybe the guy with the man bun probably knows that Burchett was talking about.
The administrative assistant that was like, nope.
Yeah. And all of the military guys next to him were like, yeah, we can't say anything because he could kill me if I do. So, I mean, like those guys, the ones were like even the military, officers are like, hey, he's ain't shit when he's around. Those are the guys in charge. Those are the guys that tell Trump whether he can say shit and what he can't. Who they are, I don't know if it's part of the cabal, if he's a secret flipping reptile. I don't know. I am so sending this to Selig. I can't. I get the feeling with every fiber of my being that what he comes back with is going to be amazing.
It would definitely be interesting to follow up with him and see if he will say something or if he'd want to come on and talk about it. I mean, I would be curious to see his point of view on that.
Well, I mean, like we discussed when, last time after he was on the show, I mean, he's already agreed that when he's done with this next book, he's going to come on for multiple shows.
Yeah.
To talk about stuff. So this is going to be added to that list, unless for some reason it's solved by then. I don't know where he is on his book, but this is crazy. And I would very much be interested if McCasland is the last one. if he is, there's a reason for that, and that's probably because his disappearance, and maybe that's why he did it. Put such a humongous spotlight on this that maybe he's forcing them to stop doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I would definitely say there's a spotlight on this particular subject now. So anything going forward is going to be under the microscope, I would think. And like I know at least like News Nation, and I've seen a couple of the other places pick up blurbs about it, but their accounts are usually at about 10 and they don't go all the way to the 13 like Burchett was talking about. And yeah, I can only see it unless something washes this out of the headlines getting bigger.
Yeah, shit has hit the fan. If I send you a text message and I say, I just turned on MS Now and they're talking about this, like shit's gone down that we don't know. And somebody, whoever is pulling the strings on either side, has told like the 24-hour news people, it's time to bring this into the limelight for whatever reason they're doing, whether it's disinformation, whether it's the setup disclosure, I don't know. But there's a very specific purpose and reason for doing so. And I'm interested to know what it was, what it will be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you have anything you want to close with?
No, it's intriguing to me. It's I can't believe it's been swept under the rug as long as it has. Once you start making those connections and you seeing how they're all tied together and the big picture of what these people missing and gone impacts us with as far as technologies and stuff. So I'm anxious to see where this goes as far as them uncovering more details about this and maybe potentially exposing something or who else goes missing next.
Like I just got a thought, and I'm assuming it's coming to my head now because I'm supposed to say it before we go off the air. And it's something that you said earlier about the Pritchards and how they're compartmentalizing stuff. So, even though they've lived together, they both work for Wright-Patterson Air Force, they might not know at all what either of them is doing. And I'm almost wondering if every single one of these, whether they're, working together, like McCasland and Reza were, if they're all working unknowingly on the same project, just different aspects of the same, like one person's working on fusion, which is a power source. The other's working on a super alloy, which would be like the outer crust of whatever they're trying to do. Like all of these people might be working on the exact same project and not know it.
Well, yeah, because you take the first one is the advanced materials and propulsion, and then you go nuclear fusion and fusion science. You take it down to the surveillance and reconnaissance and exoplanetary and space sciences. So yeah, that could definitely be the same project. Everything being put together for a project and those all falling under that particular project.
Yeah. And nobody else associated with this project except for the person putting it all together, which might have been McCasland, since that was his entire job. Nobody would know that they're doing anything other than what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, you could even tell Reza that I would like you to build something for a new space capsule. And so you think you're doing something very noble and that's going to help the country, but it's for something completely different. And you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it because somebody else on the other side of the country is working on propulsion and somebody down in Texas is working on fusion. Well, of course, the fusion was Massachusetts, but then
you don't really know. You wouldn't really get the meaning of those things until you saw it live in action. And then, of course, it would be, hey, I worked on that, or hey, that's part of my work, or whatever. And
and maybe that's why the people who got killed, and the people who are missing, or in
the secret facility, or
well, I mean, maybe they're still working on it, or they're working on another project or something along those lines. Maybe those are the ones that know now what they're building. And the other people are expendable. I mean, not to me or, their families, but to in a government.
Oh yeah.
Every single one of those people, once they have run out of their use, see, you got to go. This is national security.
Well, yeah. I mean, you start thinking back and like MK Ultra and stuff like that, and when that scientist started questioning their methods and stuff, they dosed him with LSD and tossed him out a window. So yeah.
If Seelig doesn't answer, I'm going to postal stamp him in the face if I ever meet him. I need answers, Seelig.
I'm sure he'll jump. I would imagine he would be anxious to get involved with the conversation, but that's just me.
That's going to go into my email. I need answers, Seelig. Like that's going to be my whole spiel. I need them because humans.
And what is your take on this?
Yeah, humans love a mystery. All right. Well, that's going to do it. Again, re-announcement next week for 2 hours. We have Grant and Rihanna Wilson, the Wilsons, coming on the show to talk about all sorts of things. It's going to be flipping amazing. I can't wait. Yeah. Until then, Anthony and I we will see you next week. Be healthy, be safe. Everyone have a great rest of the weekend.